This is a Newark Boys Chorus School. We were originally founded as a choral school back in 1967, and we grew to become a choral and academic school. We serve students in grades 4 through 8, and we have approximately 78 students in our school. And that is our mission, to serve a small group of inner-city youth in our school, to provide to them a stellar music program and to provide to them a stellar academic program. They're coming to us with the same needs of any other middle school kid. Same dilemmas at home, the same challenges at home, the same challenges in their community, the same challenges in the school. And perhaps because it's urban America and it's a major urban city, probably some of those challenges are a little different and perhaps a little more complex than a normal middle school kid would encounter. Certainly any part of a young man being successful is development of his character.
Some of the first steps of this whole new character strengths initiative for our school actually started the summer before the first semester of school, where a subcommittee of our staff got together for several times throughout the summer, and we looked at the entire school body. We had the character strengths that we knew that we were going to be working with, the universal strengths, and we just took the time to just look at each student, and everyone said, let's look at their strengths. And we nominated at least 2 or 3 strengths for each student.
One of the ideas that through the brainstorming was to have what we call the badge project. And we started first with the faculty modeling. And we had the character strengths printed on cards. And each teacher had a badge hanging around their neck.
And whenever you felt that someone was showing a character strength, as a colleague, you would give them this card. And so it was very visible for the kids to see. So that, of course, they were curious. Miss Terrell, you have love. Who gave you that? What did you do? How did you earn that? They thought it was like an earning, giving. So that was our time to just explain to the kids each day for those weeks the process. And Mr. Zaya gave this to me because he saw that I did this. So that really got the kids excited. And then when they found out that they were going to do it next, again, the excitement just kind of went through the roof.
Well, the activity was about not just seeing strengths in people and not saying anything, seeing it in others and then showing them that you really saw it and giving them something to show appreciation.
One of the character strengths that my teacher saw in me, his name is Mr. Sanfilippo, was valor. It started when it was my first day, and I was really shy to introduce myself because I didn't know anybody. But then it took me a lot of confidence to pull myself together and, describe myself, where I'm from, what school I'm from, what's my name, what grade I'm in. It took me a lot of confidence to explain myself.
Well, back in autumn season, I nominated my friend, I believe it was Terrell C., and I nominated him for awe. Terrell really uses awe in chorus because I can see when he's singing, his facial expressions just show it off. And when he's singing, when we get new pieces, he's excited to do it. He's excited to come to rehearsal. And recently he has told me that his favorite class is rehearsal. So I can just see that he loves the class and he just loves to sing.
I was ashamed to show my love of learning. I would have a lot of humility. I would just stay in the back of my class and just not raise my hand for questions. I would answer everything right, but I don't like to brag about it. But then after a lot of kids started giving me love of learning, I actually got it 6 times before the badge project ended. And then now I'm not ashamed to show my love of learning. I'm always in the front of the class, raising my hand, answering all questions without being afraid.
We were observing strengths in other, and my person was Toomey. Let's start with love. Toomey, when he sees his baby sister, his mother come, he hugs them, kisses them, and he carries his baby sister around.
The kids didn't know who was nominating them until we actually revealed it a few days later. So when he read his and the person wrote that he had the character strength of loving, he was like, wow. The way that the person wrote it, you could tell that person admired him for not being embarrassed, it's, at the middle school level to show love to your mother or siblings, to come to pick you up. So that made him feel really good. And you could just look at his face and tell that was something that he didn't think anyone ever noticed. He didn't even think that it was anything like a big deal. It was just the norm, giving your mom a kiss or a hug.
Let's say I'm in a car. I'm driving, and I run out of gas. And of course I need gas, metaphorically, to keep going. But that's where your friends come in. When they reach excellence, when they're on their path to excellence, they have to stop and help you. Maybe encouraging words, encouraging character strengths. And I think the handing out of the character strengths really was kind of a boost for me because it made me feel better.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The person I'm doing is my bishop. In art class today, we had to draw, we had to print out a picture of an African American and write an essay on them. I chose to do my bishop from my church. I'm still working on the drawing, but I wrote the essay. And in the essay, we had to write, we had to put into some character strips. We had to put in character strips about the person we're drawing about and writing about.
Muhammad Ali was born on January 17, 1942, Louisville, Kentucky, in the USA. His nationality is American and rated at a heavyweight.
So we did a presentation of those portraits. We selected certain students to stand before the class and show their portrait and to read their report. After we did that, we began to discuss how they were able to discover the character strengths within each personality. Do you think that he learned persistence, or do you think he always had that as part of his personality?
Learned it.
You think he learned it?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I think he learned it because, like,
In 8th grade literature class, we do a lot of character analysis, and it's part of our core curriculum. So what we do now is we start looking at characters through character strengths. What are their character strengths, and how do these character strengths help them in a situation to resolve the challenge that they are presently involved in? Or how did perhaps where they did not have a strong character strength, how did that get them into the situation?
In 7th grade, they've been learning about slavery, and then we moved into the Civil War, and now we're in Reconstruction. And so as we talk about different characters throughout the war, different components of slavery, we read stories, we read poems, and the kids, they'll raise their hand and say, so-and-so was using bravery or courage when he did this, but so-and-so was using valor when he did this. And then I'll say, well, how do you know it was valor? And then that causes them to think back on their definitions. Okay, did everyone get theirs?
When I received my VIA results today in advisory class, I wasn't really surprised at anything I got because everything, all the character strengths that the VIA nominated me for basically was the ones that classmates and teachers saw in me during the course of the 2 weeks, I guess. So that I was kind of shocked at because I was like, wow, I must demonstrate these a lot, and it just must be a part of me because now when I was taking the questionnaire, I was able to just write them down, and I think all of them was almost in the same exact order and everything, so that I was shocked about.
Of all the strengths that were in my results, I found zest the most like weird because I'm usually a kid who's self-controlled and I have a lot of humility. I don't like to attract attention and be wild, and just not wild. It's just like very energetic. And I'm usually not that kid, but when the results came in and I noticed that most of the people in the school said I had a lot of zest, I was very stunned and surprised because I really don't see that a lot in myself.
Brings us back to our essential questions. How did I use my signature strength? That's the form we're looking at. How did I benefit from it? And then how did others benefit from it? Okay, so if you get confused with what to write, you're answering the 3 questions here. How did I use it? How did I benefit? How did others benefit?
My character strength that I wrote down was humor, and when my friend got in trouble, I was able to talk to him I was able to talk to him, and then at the end, I was able to just throw in a funny joke to make him laugh and take his mind off the situation.
Self-control was really kind of hard for me when I entered the school. I did get in trouble a lot, and sometimes I thought that the teachers were against me. And like during my 6th, 7th, and 8th grade year, when I stepped into the concert chorus, it was like, I'm making these decisions on my own, and this is why I get in trouble, so I really can't get mad at the teacher. I have to get mad at myself. And my teacher, Mr. Morris, he always told me to never live in regret. So like when you always get in trouble, just brush it off and keep it moving, but you have to know that you have to learn from your mistakes because you can't make them all yourself.
Like I said in my poem out there on the wall, for a sense of purpose, I said, I want to leave my mark so that the world would know that I was here. I am really involved in performing and art, and a lot of different artists impact me and change my life, and I want to do the same for others as they did for me.
Okay, one more person who we haven't heard from. Mr. Gray?
Well, my character strengths, it made me feel a lot better about myself, because my first top strength, it says I had spirituality, sense of purpose, and faith, and that made me feel really, grand.
Okay.
But just to have someone else say it just makes me feel large, grand, bigger. It makes me feel good.
So what's the similarities between the three of us?
Love, humor.
That's right, humor.
Creativity.
Creativity.
Guess I would say perseverance, persistence for both of you.
What else we got in common? Leadership. No, he didn't say that for me.
I think that's a similarity between all three of us.
Yeah, but
right?
he didn't say that for me.
Yes, I did.
Leadership.
Yes.
Oh, now you want to come back.
I did
You
say
did say,
that.
okay. All right, leadership.
Especially after your performance last week.
I was talking to my parents last night about the character strengths, and I was able to just tell them what the character strengths are, at least most of them, and why are we using them in our school. And then my mother actually brought up that she uses one of the character strengths too, and I was like, yes, you use a lot of them, because my parents really do. Love of learning, awe, humor. My dad shows persistence and perseverance all the time. So I was just telling them most of the character strengths, and they're able, like if you tell them what are the character strengths, they'll be able to say, oh, I use that because lately I have been talking to them about the character strengths, and they find it interesting.
I believe the character strength has changed the school a lot. Like, kids feel way better of themselves because everybody's noticing the good in them. And even after we stopped using the badges, we're still saying if we still had them, I give you humor because you're very funny and love of learning because of how you behave in class and how you love to learn. Character strength has had a deep impact in this school, and in a good way, not in a negative way.
This process has brought the staff together more, so we're working together more on smaller projects. We're working together to model this for the children. So I would say more this year than last year. I was really a team player, whereas last year I could say not really.
Kids are much more engaged in class. When I'm walking around to classes, observing classes and observing the learning that's going on in those classrooms, I'm seeing kids much more engaged, much more attentive, much more involved with their learning than I have in the past. And one of the reasons I deeply believe is the character strengths.
I think it's a very friendshipy kind of thing. Like, people get to know you more, and I think it should stay here.
I think we're learning more about ourselves. I think we're finding how, as we're teaching about character strengths, we're obviously examining our own. We're finding how we can put them more into play into our planning and our teaching and our relationships with the boys. So we're already seeing an impact.
I've focused on having myself be one person, be who I am around anyone, no matter how they represent themselves. I'm gonna be who I am so they can know how I am. And the character strengths have helped me a lot.
For these kids to have this at the 4th grade level through 8th grade level, I think it's just amazing. And what parent wouldn't want their child to be a part of this program? I mean, you're literally giving them something that in life you really wouldn't get until you're 20 or 30. You're giving this to them as adolescents, which to me is only gonna make their lives that much richer and that much greater. So I fully endorse the Character Strengths Initiative, and I'm just proud to be a part of it.
I really don't care what people say about me because I'm always gonna do the best I can to get where I need to go. And these character strengths are gonna follow me. They're gonna lead me to the way.